My beloved child, stop everything for a moment because this is urgent. I need you to hear me clearly. This story between us did not begin on the day you first prayed, cried out, or looked up in desperation. No, this began long before you even knew how to spell my name. Long before your first breath, I called you mine. I formed you in secret, with love and detail, assigning your soul an eternal identity before the world ever gave you one. Before people labeled you, before pain tried to define you, before failure whispered lies in your ear, I already saw your entire journey. I said, that one is mine. You are not a product of chance, nor a mistake drifting through the wind of circumstances. I selected you intentionally. Every detail of your life is known to me. Every laugh, every scar, every silence. I didn't choose you because of what you could do for me, but because of who you are to me. You were never forgotten. The world may overlook you, but I never have. My hand has always hovered over your path, not to control you, but to guard the treasure I placed in you. You wonder why certain people never understood you. Because I set you apart for something they weren't called to carry. I didn't choose you to impress them. I chose you because your heart mirrors mine more than you realize. You've been carrying this invisible ache, wondering if your life really matters in the larger story. And I'm here to tell you your life is not a side chapter. It's part of the very heartbeat of heaven's narrative. Don't you see? It's always been about you and me. This is personal. This is eternal. You didn't find me. I came after you. I crossed every barrier, tore down every wall, and broke through every chain just to reach you. And I'm still here, standing at the door of your heart, waiting for you to realize that everything you've been longing for is not out there, it's me. I chose you before the battle. I love you before the war. I called you before you ever answered. This isn't random. This is destiny. And it begins again right now because I never stopped writing our story. Don't move away now because what I'm about to say is something you've waited your entire life to hear. Every move you've made, whether bold or broken, intentional or desperate, wise or wounded, I have been there. I never looked away when you stumbled. I didn't flinch when you got lost. I didn't back off when your heart got cold or your words were sharp. I didn't disown you when shame made you hide. I walked through every corner of your life with a patience deeper than the oceans and a closeness stronger than the air in your lungs. Even in the moments you turned away from me, I moved closer, not out of obligation but out of love. When your feet carried you toward people and places that never truly valued you, I followed not to condemn, but to protect what still remained of your innocence. When you ran headfirst into decisions you now wish you could undo, I didn't wait for you to crawl back to me. I stayed in the shadow of every moment, holding you together even when you didn't realize you were unraveling. And when you cried in secret, wondering if you had finally gone too far for me to care, I was there, catching every tear, listening to every unspoken apology, holding on to every part of you that felt shattered. You see, I'm not like them. I don't abandon when the light fades. I don't retreat when things get complicated. I don't walk out when the road gets messy. That's when I draw it even nearer. I didn't just walk beside you when you were faithful. I stood beside you when you fell. I didn't only celebrate your strength, I held you up in your weakness. The world may tell you to forget those chapters, but I want to heal them. I want to redeem them. Because every experience you've had, even the ones you never talk about, are not disqualifications, they are doorways through which my mercy rushes in. I'm not repelled by your mistakes. I'm not keeping score. I'm here to restore, not review. And if you'll stop punishing yourself for what's already under my grace, you'll finally feel the freedom I've been trying to give you. This journey isn't about how well you've performed. It's about how far you've come and how much more I have for you. I've been tracking your every step, not to judge your pace, but to prove to you that no ground is too broken for me to bless. So don't look at your past as a disqualification. See it for what it is, the setting for the miracle that's still unfolding. Because from the first step to the last breath, it's not just your journey, it's ours. You've learned to smile through the silence, haven't you? You've become an expert at hiding what no one else even bothers to ask about. But I've seen it all, the moments when your eyes welled up behind closed doors, when your voice trembled in the dark, when your soul whispered what your lips couldn't form into words. Not one tear escaped my notice. Not a single sigh drifted away unnoticed. While others were distracted by the surface, I was kneeling beside your spirit, holding those cries like priceless treasure. You thought you were alone. You believed no one would ever understand the heaviness that suddenly visits for no reason, the numbness that follows you into your sleep, the ache that doesn't seem to heal with time. But I was right there, not as a distant observer, but as a caring presence who absorbs every ounce of your pain. You see, I don't dismiss your sorrow. I gather it. I turn it into purpose. I hold every single drop of grief and turn it into living water that will nourish what's been barren for too long. You've tried to be strong for everyone else. You've carried burdens without complaining. But I never asked you to pretend. I never asked you to suppress or hide. I created your heart to feel deeply, not to collapse silently. And when the world looked away, I leaned in. I drew near not just to hear, but to heal. I saw when you stared into space, asking questions with no answers. I felt the weight you carried when no one noticed your shaking hands. I knew about the nights when you held your pillow tighter, hoping it would silence the ache inside. My child, you don't have to hide anymore. You don't need to explain why you feel broken. I already know. I've always known. And I've been waiting, not to scold, but to soothe. This isn't weakness. This is the place where I step in fully. When you can't carry it any longer, that's when I lift it from you, not just the pain, but the isolation that came with it. You were never meant to survive this silently. You were meant to rise again through my arms, holding your every breakdown. Those tears, each one has power. Each one was noticed. Each one will be answered. Don't underestimate what I can do with the parts of your heart that feel invisible to the world. I specialize in unseen sorrow. I bring sunlight to where shadows have lived too long. And this very moment, as you read this, I want you to feel it. I'm wrapping my arms around your innermost wounds. I'm speaking peace where there's been a storm. I'm not waiting for you to be okay. I'm stepping into the ache to prove you were never abandoned. You've cried in silence long enough. Now let me be the one who shows you how sacred those tears really are. Because with every drop you thought was wasted, I was writing a new beginning just for you. Don't ignore this moment. This is sacred. You've walked through days that felt endless, seasons that seemed to echo with silence, and you've wondered, have I been overlooked? But listen closely now, because I need you to grasp something vital. Your name has never left my thoughts. Not for a second. While you were doubting your worth, I was crafting pages of your purpose. While it felt like the world kept moving without you, I was working behind the curtain, plotting, weaving, lining, preparing. There were days you felt like a background character in someone else's life, but to me, you've always been center stage in a story I authored with holy intention. You were never misplaced. Not once. Even in those moments when you questioned why nothing made sense, why doors wouldn't open, why people changed and plans collapsed, I was not absent. I was editing your chapter, not erasing you from the book. You see delay, but I see design. You see detours, but I see divine direction. Every seemingly wasted second, I was still penning your destiny. The ink never ran dry. The vision never faded. The script never stalled. I was simply waiting for the right scene to unfold. What you called silence was actually my sovereignty. I wasn't ignoring you, I was protecting the plot twist that would redeem what you thought was lost. The truth is, I've never needed crowds to confirm your value. I've never depended on applause to affirm your calling. Your worth was settled in heaven before earth had the chance to question it. You've mistaken my timing for absence, but now I'm telling you, I've been here, writing in margins you didn't even know existed. Every broken prayer, every whispered why, Every frustrated tear, all of it had been recorded in my heart and translated into purpose. I haven't skipped over your life. I've been preparing it. And what's about to emerge will make sense of everything that seemed disconnected. You see puzzle pieces. I see the complete masterpiece. Don't let the silence of others make you question the voice of your Creator. I haven't stopped moving just because you couldn't feel me. I haven't stopped planning just because you couldn't see the blueprint. You're not forgotten. You are being written into glory. The very things you thought disqualified you are the sentences I'm hiding to display my grace. This is not the end. This is not a pause. This is a transition from hiddenness into impact. You're not waiting in vain. You're waiting for divine fulfillment. And now, as these words reach you, I want you to remember this truth. Your life is not on hold, your story is unfolding. And I'm still the author. You've wondered in silence, haven't you? You've stared into the ceiling, laid awake under blankets, and quietly asked, are you still there? Do you still talk to people like me? You weren't being dramatic, you were hungry. Not for noise, not for answers shaped by people's opinions, but for my voice. And I need you to understand this right now. I've never gone quiet. I've never stopped reaching for you, not even for a day. You've just been surrounded by so much volume from the world that my whispers have been drowned in distraction. But even so, I've leaned closer. I've called your name, not in thunder but in stillness. In that pause between your thoughts. In that flicker of hope that wouldn't die even when everything else fell apart. In the gentle conviction that tugged at your heart when you considered giving up. In the unexplainable peace that came out of nowhere. That was me. I've spoken in ways you didn't recognize. In the lyrics of a psalm that hit your soul just right. In the words of a stranger that felt like a direct answer. In the sudden memory that comforted you without reason. I don't always speak through grand gestures, I speak through intimacy. Through closeness. Through the kind of familiarity that doesn't need to shout. The world teaches you to expect me only in miracles, but I've been in the moments. I've been in the breath between prayers. I've been in the silence that made your soul ache. I wasn't ignoring you, I was inviting you to come nearer. To slow down. To tune your spirit to the frequency of my love, which never falters or fades. I know you've asked, why don't you just speak louder? But louder doesn't always mean clearer. Sometimes I whisper because I want you to draw closer, not just for answers but for me. Because this has never been about information, it's about connection. I haven't just been whispering commands. I've been calling you by name, repeating it daily, with affection, with urgency, with hope. Not because I needed your attention, but because I love being near you. And even when your attention wandered, my voice never did. You haven't missed me, I'm right here. Still speaking, still calling, still guiding. And if you take a deep breath right now and lay down the pressure, you'll feel it. I'm still speaking peace into your storms. I'm still declaring truth over the lies. I'm still reminding you that you matter, that you are not forgotten, and that I still choose you. So don't wonder anymore if I speak. Start listening again. The conversation hasn't ended. It's just been waiting for your heart to lean back into mine. You've been trying so hard to get everything right, haven't you? You've worn yourself down trying to fit into a version of faith that feels exhausting. You thought if you just prayed more, obeyed faster, or held your emotions together better, then maybe you'd feel worthy enough to be near me. But hear me now, because this breaks the silence in your soul. I've never once demanded perfection from you. That pressure didn't come from me. It came from the fear of being unloved if you didn't measure up. But I don't require flawless performance. I desire your openness. I long for your truth, even when it's messy. Especially when it's messy. This connection between us doesn't depend on how put together you appear, it depends on how willing you are to bring me the real version of you. The one who doubts sometimes. The one who gets frustrated. The one who fails. The one who feels afraid. I can do so much more with honesty than I ever could with a mask. When you pretend, you distance yourself. But when you come to me just as you are, everything changes. I'm not disgusted by your questions. I'm not offended by your struggle. I'm not pushed away by your moments of weakness. In fact, those are the exact places where I meet you the most deeply. When you bring your raw, unfiltered heart to me, when you finally stop performing and start being, our real relationship begins. I'm not looking for rehearsed prayers or perfect faith. I'm looking for your trust. That means talking to me about what's real, even if it's painful, even if it's ugly. I'd rather sit with you in your confusion than hear a polished sentence that isn't from your heart. Because that's the whole point. This has always been about the heart. You were never supposed to pretend with me. You were invited to be known. You see it now. You don't have to wait until you're stronger. You don't have to clean yourself up before you come closer. I never asked you to fix what you can't heal alone. I only asked you to let me in. And when you do, something holy happens. The walls begin to fall. The shame starts to dissolve. The burden becomes lighter, not because you've figured it all out, but because you're no longer carrying it by yourself. I didn't die for the perfect version of you. I gave my life for the one you are right now. The one who's hurting. The one who's tired. The one who's been pretending long enough. You don't have to fake it with me. Come honestly. Come broken. Come just as you are. That's where we begin. That's where healing starts. That's where love flows freely. I've never needed you to impress me. I just wanted you to let me love you for real. Stop and hear me, because this moment carries a truth too important for you to overlook. You have survived more than you acknowledge. You've walked through valleys that tried to convince you they were the end. You've endured nights that told you you'd never see light again. You've stood in storms that threatened to shatter your hope completely. And yet you're still here. Breathing. Standing. Fighting. Choosing to rise when you had every reason to collapse. And I want you to know something the world rarely says and your heart rarely believes. I am proud of you. Yes, you. Not just for the victories others can see, but for the internal battles no one else noticed. The quiet decisions you made to keep going when quitting felt easier. The times you showed kindness when your heart was bruised. The moments you held your peace when everything inside you was crying for release. You faced the kind of pressure that could have turned your soul bitter, but you didn't give in. You wrestled with your thoughts, with fear, with heaviness, and though it left marks, it didn't leave you destroyed. I see it all. Every silent prayer uttered between sobs. Every tear that fell without an audience. Every step forward you took when your legs trembled. Don't you dare think your perseverance went unnoticed. I've counted every time you showed up for life when everything inside you screamed to disappear. You haven't failed, no. You've been fighting. And that fight, even when messy, even when uncertain, makes heaven applaud. I'm not impressed by flawless lives. I'm moved by resilient hearts. And yours has continued to beat, even when it was broken. That matters. That is strength. Not the kind the world celebrates, but the kind that heaven crowns. You didn't let bitterness win. You didn't allow rejection to define your identity. You didn't collapse under the weight of comparison. Even when confusion clouded your vision, you still tried to trust me. And that right there is faith. Not perfect faith, but enduring faith. And it's enough. More than enough. You've been your own harshest critic, haven't you? Measuring your worth by what you haven't accomplished, by who hasn't stayed, by how slow the progress has felt. But I don't see failure when I look at you. I see courage. I see someone who was attacked and yet remained kind. I see someone who lost and still chose to believe. I see someone who didn't feel strong but kept showing up. That kind of bravery is rare, and I honor it. You are not a disappointment. You are a warrior of grace. You are not defined by your scars, you are refined by them. Every struggle you faced is now part of your strength. Not one of those wins was wasted. I've used every bruise to build something eternal in you. And even now, I'm preparing new strength, new peace, new joy to pour into the places where you've grown weary. Because I don't just see who you were in the battle, I see who you've become through it. You are becoming unshakable. You are becoming radiant. You are becoming the living proof that nothing formed against you has prospered. So let me say it again. I am proud of you, not for being flawless, but for not giving up. It's about you and me, and I've never stopped cheering for you in the fight. Take a breath, my child, because what I'm about to remind you of has the power to free you from everything that's been weighing down your heart. You've spent far too long trying to prove your worth, striving to earn approval, to maintain appearances, to meet the unspoken expectations that have wrapped themselves around your soul. But I need you to know this bond between us was never born out of your efforts. It was never built on achievements or measured by consistency. It was always, and will always be, rooted in unconditional love. I didn't enter your life to inspect your flaws. I came to restore what you were never meant to carry alone. I didn't call you because you had it all together. I called you because I saw the depth of who you are beneath all the trying. There is no checklist you need to complete to be close to me. No spiritual performance you must maintain to remain loved. I love you before your first yes, and I'll love you through every moment after. This isn't a contract based on your strength, this is a covenant sealed by my sacrifice. You don't have to impress me. You don't have to pretend you're strong when you're tired. You don't have to rehearse prayers or quote all the right words. You just have to be real. This is a heart-to-heart connection, not a staged audience show. I don't need polished acts, I want presence. I want the you that exists before the world demands perfection. I want the you that cries quietly and laughs unexpectedly. The you that questions and still chooses to believe. The you that doubts and still hopes. There's you here for all of that. You've seen relationships fall apart because they depended on how well you performed, how much you gave, or how little you failed. But I'm not them. I don't leave when you disappoint me. I don't walk out when things get messy. I stay. I remain. I endure because my love for you isn't conditional. It's constant. It's active. It's alive. And I'm not loving a future version of you, I'm loving the real you, right now. You don't have to do more to earn what I freely give. Stop trying to win what I already handed you. I paid for it with my blood so you'd never have to earn it with your exhaustion. Do you know what I desire from you more than your best behavior? I long for your closeness. I miss you when your heart hides behind pressure. I grieve when you think you have to clean yourself up before coming back to me. Don't you see? I tore the veil so you wouldn't have to keep performing. I gave you access so you'd never feel like a stranger again. So come boldly. Come broken. Come with nothing but your open heart. This has never been about religion. This is about relationship. It's always been about you and me. A connection that doesn't break when you fail. A love that doesn't grow cold when you drift. A grace that doesn't expire when you fall. I'm here. Not watching to see if you'll earn me, but waiting to see if you'll just rest in me. Let go of the pressure. You've been trying too hard to impress a God who already chose you. You don't need to act. You need to receive. Because in this love, this eternal, unstoppable, unshakable love, you will finally find the peace you've been chasing. And in that peace, you'll remember, this has never been a transaction, it's always been a relationship. It's about you and me, and nothing you do can make me love you more or less than I already do right now. Listen closely, because what I'm about to say may touch places in you that have been locked away for a long time. There are pieces of your heart that you've buried beneath layers of survival. You've told yourself those places are too damaged to ever feel whole again. You've carried wounds so deep that even time hasn't been able to dull the sting. And somewhere along the way, you started believing the lie that healing was for others, not for you. But I want you to know the truth. I've been working on your heart all along, quietly, faithfully, with more care than you could ever imagine. Even when you couldn't feel me, even when you questioned if restoration was possible, I never stopped reaching into the broken places. I've been restoring what pain tried to erase. I've been planting hope where sorrow uprooted your confidence. I've been reshaping the very core of who you are, not to turn you into someone else, but to bring back the version of you that trauma tried to silence. You see, nothing is too far gone for me. No emotion, no memory, no regret is outside the reach of my hands. You may have learned to live with the ache, to function despite the cracks, but I didn't create you to just survive. I came so you could be made whole. I came to mend the unseen, the things you don't talk about, the things you've accepted as permanent damage. I see the emptiness you carry in silence. I hear the echoes of things you wish never happened. I know about the disappointment that still lingers in the corners of your smile. And I've been gently working behind the scenes to rewrite those places with my love. This isn't a quick fix. This is a sacred restoration. I don't patch things up to make them look fine. I rebuild from the foundation so the healing lasts. There are parts of your story that others may never understand, but I was there. I was present in the chaos, and I'm still present in the healing. I'm not waiting for you to bring me a fixed heart. I'm asking you to bring me what's left, so I can show you what grace really looks like when it touches the deepest parts of who you are. I'm not afraid of the damage. I'm not overwhelmed by the weight. I'm not repulsed by the mess. That's where I do my greatest work. I breathe life into the places you believed were dead. I bring warmth where there was once coldness. I sow peace where anxiety had built a home. You thought healing had to look a certain way, come in a certain time frame, or feel a certain way, but healing with me often begins quietly. It begins in the whisper that tells you, you're still lovable. It starts with the realization that your worth was never lost, only hidden beneath grief. It grows in the moments where you finally give yourself permission to hope again. I know you've been scared to feel, afraid to hope, terrified to trust. But you're not doing this alone. I'm guiding every step of your restoration, with hands that don't tremble, with eyes that see the masterpiece I created when I formed your soul. You don't need to write. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to know that I'm not done. This heart of yours, it's in the process of becoming something stronger, softer, deeper, and more beautiful than you've ever seen before. So let me continue what I've started. Let me take what you've called ruined and show you how redemption works. This is personal. This is sacred. This is about you and me. And I promise I'm rebuilding what you thought could never be restored. Pause everything right now, because what I'm about to reveal will shift how you see the pain you've endured. You've lost things, haven't you? Not just objects or moments, but deep, meaningful parts of yourself that you thought were gone forever. Trust that was shattered. Joy that slowly faded. Opportunities that disappeared just as quickly as they arrived. And as you watched those pieces slip away, it felt like life was robbing you in silence, like the enemy was winning ground you couldn't defend. But I want you to hear me. Every single thing that darkness tried to take from you has not been forgotten. I have preserved what matters most. Even when it looked like everything was falling apart, I was securing the very things that would one day be returned to you multiplied, not missing. I am not the God who lets loss have the final word. I am the restorer, the defender, the keeper of everything sacred within you. Nothing that belongs to your calling can be permanently stolen. What the enemy thought he snatched in victory, I reclaimed in power. I gathered what you thought slipped through your fingers and held it in my hands until the time was right to return it better, brighter, and more complete than before. You see, the enemy didn't just go after your resources, he went after your hope, your peace, your voice, your clarity. He attacked where it hurt most, hoping to convince you that I had abandoned you, that I wasn't strong enough to protect what was yours. But I need you to understand that while he was scheming, I was preserving. While you were grieving, I was preparing. Nothing has gone to waste, not one season, not one tear, not one battle. I am the God of redemption, and I deal in overflow. I will not just restore, I will repay. And not in a way that merely replaces what you lost, but in a way that overflows. The relationships that were broken, the years that felt stolen, the moments that never got to happen, all of it is under my care. You don't need to strive to get them back. You need only to trust me to return them at the perfect time, in the perfect form, for your good. I haven't just been watching, I've been intervening behind the scenes, reclaiming what was stolen, and writing a return that will silence every lie that told you it was over. When I restore completely. I don't give back fragments, I give back fullness. I don't offer scraps, I deliver abundance. This is not compensation, it's transformation. What's coming won't look exactly like what was lost. It will be better. Yarber. Purifying through fire and drenched in purpose. You will look at what's returned to you and say, this was worth the wait. This was worth the war. I'm not late, and I'm not passive. I'm active in your redemption, and I'm preparing a release that will astonish even you. So don't believe the whispers that say you've missed your moment. Don't give in to the fear that says it's too late. I am the God who brings dead things to life, and I'm not finished. What the enemy meant to bury, I will resurrect. What was broken, I will rebuild. What was delayed, I will accelerate. And through it all, I will prove one thing over and over again. It's always been about you and me, and I never lose what belongs to me. You didn't lose everything, you're about to witness a divine return. Get ready to receive not just what you once held, but more than you ever dreamed. Amen.